So how do you battle that superficiality? Rabbis tell us, nobody does a sin unless they're overcome by foolishness. Because why would you do something wrong? If you're thinking you would use your mouth for something improper, why do you have the ability to talk? Because God gave you the ability to talk, right? So why would you use your ability to talk against God when the only reason you talk is because God gave you the ability to do that? That's stupid. You're right, we only do things wrong when we're being stupid, when we're not thinking, right? So how do you fight that? You have to think. Hebrew word for thinking is machshava. To think is machshava. Two types of machshava, two types of thinking. One is machshava, thinking. Take the same letters that spell machshava, rearrange those letters, and you get the word besimcha. Mishenechnas Adar, marbim besimcha. So there's Yom Kippur thinking and there's Adar thinking. Yom Kippur thinking is, I want to die, I don't want to die, God, I don't want to die, I promise you I have flu starting tomorrow, I'm going to do all these 27 different things, just don't kill me. You said that last year. I know, God, but hey, you know, I listen. I said it 3 years ago too, God. I was going to ask you that, but I chose not to. But you think, and you promise. This is what I want to do, what's the right thing to do, where am I going in my life, what do I want to accomplish, wake up in the morning, I'm going to look at my face, I'm going to smile, right? And you think, and you promise, and you promise, and you promise, and how long does it last? Whatever. That's machshava Yom Kippur. There's another way to battle that ruach shtrus. There's another way to battle it, and that's the same letters of machshava. And switch them, and it's besimcha. Mishenitas adar marbim besimcha. That's Purim. When you dive into the material world and you sanctify it, because the month of Adar, Aleph, Daled, Resh is 205, and 2 plus 5 is 7. And the sign for Adar, the mazal of Adar, is fish, as we all know. That's Daled Gimel. That's 3 plus 4 is 7. And 7 is Shabbat. Shabbat represents spirituality within the material world. And that's the number 7. You start Shabbat by doing what? Lighting a candle. The Hebrew word for candle is what? Ner. Numerical value of Ner is 250. 2 plus 5 is 7. After you light candles, what's the first thing you do? You make Kiddush on wine. Hebrew word for wine is yayin. Yud, Yud, Nun, 10, 20 plus 50 makes 70. 7. After you make Kiddush on wine, you make a motzi on challah. Ches, lamed, hey. Ches, lamed, hey. Right? Ches is 8, lamed is 30, 38. 38 plus 5 is 43. 4 plus 3 is 7. After you finish your challah, what do you have? You have fish.
Slow down. 38 plus 5
is 43. 4
Where's
plus 3
the
is 7. Hey, challah, ches, lamed, hey. Then after the challah, you have fish. Basar b'dagim mechal matam. Fish, daled gimel, 3 4 is 7. After you have fish, you have soup. Mem, resh, kuf. Mem, resh, kuf also buys on 7. Mem is 40. Resh is 200. Kuf is 300. Right? Kuf is another 100, so it's 304. 3 plus 4 is 7. That's marak. Basar v'dagim mechal matam. You have meat. Beis, shin, resh. Right? Beis, shin, resh, same thing. Shin and resh is 300. 200 is 5. 502. 5 plus 2 is 7. Right? Then shol. Shol doesn't work. Shol's involved. Shabbat is number 7. 7 is sanctity in the material world. What's the only mitzvah a Jew is not allowed to do? A non-Jew is not allowed to do. A non-Jew can shake a lulav, and a non-Jew can eat kosher, and a non-Jew can wear tzitzis, and a non-Jew can sit in a sukkah, and a non-Jew can put on tefillin, and a non-Jew can do everything he wants in the whole wide world, but keep Shabbat. Can't keep Shabbat. Not allowed to. Ask any person involved in the conversion process, they always know. They got somewhere along the line they have to be Machal Shabbat. Can't keep Shabbat. Shabbat is uniquely Jewish. Because the concept of putting sanctity in the material world, sitting down with family and friends and eating a meal, and making that the service of God, that's Jewish. And nobody else has that. Says the morale, non-Jews are allowed to bring sacrifices in the temple. But not all sacrifices. The Gemara tells us they're allowed to bring a korban olah. That's a korban, that's a sacrifice that got burned completely on the altar. But a korban shlamim, a korban shlamim, where part of it was burnt on the altar, Part of it was eaten by the kohen. Part of it was eaten by the person who brought it. That's why it's called a shlomim, because it's shalom, it's peace. Everybody involved gets something. That can only be brought by Jews, not by non-Jews. They can burn the entire sacrifice on the altar. They can be nuns. They can go up on mountaintops, and they can be holy. But they can't sit down and eat a meal and sanctify themselves that way. The only things that we do that have the word kedusha, sanctity, in it is kiddush on wine, kiddushin, marriage, wine and women. That's holy, not the celibate, not the mountaintop. And that's Adar, that's number 7. And therefore, by diving into the material world and seeing who and what you really are, that's how you really think. It's the gorilla principle. Everyone knows the gorilla principle. What's the gorilla principle? You walk down the street on Purim, and there's a gorilla coming down the street. Run for you! It's not a gorilla. It's Shmuley, dressed up as a gorilla. How do you know? It's grunting and jumping up and down. That's Shmuley. Ah, Shmuley. Wham! Oops, it really was a gorilla. Go to the zoo and there's a cage. That's Shmuley! No, that's a gorilla. Shmuley can wear that gorilla outfit for as long as he wants. He ain't never going to become a gorilla. You can wear whatever outfit you want. You got to decide who and what you really are. We wear costumes all the time, my friends. We wear costumes because we want to present a certain image to the world around us. And you really want to discover who and what you are. Say Chazal, Mikar Adam, you can recognize who you really are. Bekiso, with your pocket, what do you spend your money on? What's really important? It's very important. Well, I would pay for it, but it's really important. Right? What you spend your money on. Kasa, what happens when you're angry? I just lost my temper, didn't mean it. Well, you said it. Kosa, when you're drunk. I was drunk, that's right. And that's the real you. So you can think of the abstract on Yom Kippur, but you can do something even greater. You can put on costumes, and you can have parties, and you can make jokes, and you can run around, and you can have a good time on Purim. And that's another way to find out who and what you really are. And that's who you really are. And that battles the superficiality. That's number 7, putting Kedusha in the material world. And that's greater than Yom Kippur. And that's why that will remain B'Yamos HaMashiach. Because if the final battle before the coming of Mashiach is superficial, if the final battle before coming of Mashiach is the Jews that walk the walk, talk the talk, but inside we're empty, if the final battle before Mashiach is number 6, Safek, when Mashiach comes and we're number 7, and we put sanctity in the material world to celebrate Purim, the holiday of number 7, the holiday of sanctity in the material world, the holiday of recognizing who you really are by letting yourself go, allowing yourself to be what you really are, and then recognizing is that something to be proud of or not, and if not, then doing something about it, that holiday will remain B'Yamos HaMashiach. Come on. Well, so how do we do it? What do we do? There's a great fort. Listen to Shlomo Kluger. Shlomo Kluger is a television fort. He says like this. He says, if you look at the Megillah, you will notice that Esther is not called Queen Esther in the beginning, Esther Hamalka. She's always called Esther, 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 Esther. When does she switch and become Queen Esther? Only after Mordechai comes to her and says, okay, we're in trouble, you gotta go to the king. And says, Vatil Bash Esther Malchus. She put on her royal garments, and she went to the king. And from then on, she's called Esther Hamalka. Says Shlomo Kluger, why? Says Shlomo Kluger, because up until that time, she didn't want to be queen. She was forced into it. She didn't want to be part of the beauty pageant. She didn't want to go to the palace. She didn't want to be chosen. She didn't want to be there. It's not the role that she wanted. Until she realized, whoa, I can say to the Jewish people if I'm queen, I want to be queen now. Now I want to be queen. Vatilbash Esther Malchus, she put on her royal garments. What does it mean she put on her royal garments? I mean, what do you think? She was going to go to the king, wearing, wearing sneakers and a jean skirt? Obviously she was going to put on snazzy clothes to go to the king. Means she put upon herself, she took upon herself willingly the role of leadership. She dressed herself up in her queen role and said, I am now a queen. Once she chose that role voluntarily, she became Esther Hamalka. What you do when you're forced may be a good deed, but it doesn't really create you. It's what you do when you make your choices on your own. When you've chosen. I don't know everybody in this room. I don't know the people watching the video. I don't know if you grew up, religious without thinking, or you're involved in your Yiddishkeit today because you make some very difficult choices, and that's wonderful. But wherever you are along your path, there's stuff you do by rote and stuff that you choose. Most of it is probably rote. That's what we do. We get into a habit and we just do it. We never really chose to do it. Maybe we chose once, but we're not choosing anymore. It's just habit. I get up in the morning and I just go to shul. I don't think about it. I never chose in my whole life to keep Shabbos. I never chose to keep Shabbos. I never thought about it. Obviously, my father chose to keep Shabbos back when you couldn't get a job. I never chose to keep Shabbos. I never thought I didn't know anybody who didn't keep Shabbos for God knows how long. Right? You got to find all the things that you do by rote and decide to choose them. You become Esther Malka not involuntarily. You become Esther Malka not because you fall into it. You become Esther Malka when you choose to put on the garment. Realize it's a great opportunity. Realize that God is giving you a great gift. He's made you part of an unbelievable project called the Jewish people, which will bring light into the world. And rather than you're here by default because that's what you were born into, or you sort of rolled into whatever level of Yiddishkeit you sort of have, and you're sort of comfortable and floating, you've got to choose the next step. The step that you choose, the step that you volunteer for, and say, this is what I want to do because this is going to make a difference, that is what brings sanctity to the world. Fascinating pasuk if you remember when Haman wants to destroy the Jewish people. So what does it say? Mordecai didn't bow down. Right? Mordecai, what are you calling? Well, you stuck on that. Someone said, okay, who is this clown here that's not bowing down? They said, they told him he's Yehudi. And then says Haman, Mordecai Bavando, and it was despicable to him, it was beneath him, just to kill Mordecai alone. He's going to kill all the Jewish people. Why was he going to kill all the Jewish people? It was only Mordecai, the nuthead, that didn't bow down. Mordecai stood there. He's the bad guy. Kill him. I'm normal. Were you ever in the airport and there's a bunch of foreign people davening and you tiptoe by and say, that's not me, I'm normal, I'm not one of them. If Mordecai didn't bow down, what are you killing us for? We're the good guys. Right? We're patriotic. Says one of them before Shem, I apologize, I don't remember who. Where were all the other Jews when Haman came out? Where were they? So they did bow down? They worship idols and they bowed down? Hard to imagine that they'd be deserving of death. We don't find that God was angry with them that they worshipped idols. Says one of them before Shem, we know where they were. They went to hide. They said, Haman comes outside, if we're there to bow down, I can't bow down. I'm not going to bow down. I'm Jewish, man. I'm going to do that. So I'm going to stand up and spit in his face. Not me, man. No, I don't want to do that. No, I'm not normal. I'm a normal guy, man. I don't do that. So we just won't be there. We just go to our house and hide. When he's coming, we'll be at work. We just weren't there. We'll just avoid the conflict. When Haman heard that Mordecai was a Yehudi, he said, he's a Yehudi? Who do Yehudim? Oh, the Jewish guys live around here. There's Yehudim in this neighborhood? He said, yeah, well, how come I never see them? Oh, whenever you come, they hide. They hide. He got more upset because they wimped out and wouldn't stand up for what they believe in. He was more upset at them than it was at Mordecai. He said, no, I'm not going to kill this Mordecai. I'm going to kill them. You know I'm going to kill them? They don't even have the courage to come out here and not bow. That stinks. Got to have the courage to stand up before you believe it. And that's how they respect you. Yaakov Avinu is on his way back to the land of Israel. His brother Esau wants to kill him. He stole the blessings. And Esau's marching with 400 men. And Yaakov sends a message to his brother. And he says, hi, Esau. in Lavan Garti, Voicharan Ata. I've been hanging around with Lavan for a while, and I've been delayed there for a while, and here I am now. Says Rashi on the spot, quoting the Medrash, what does he mean in Lavan Garti? Garti is the same numerical value as Taryag 613, and it was sending Esau the following message. In Lavan Garti, I was living by Lavan, the Taryag mitzvah shamarti, and I kept all Taryag mitzvahs. So get this, here's Esau. He's just finished another day out at the office, plundering, murdering, pillaging, and raping. He now has his 400 men coming to kill his little, skinny, scrawny, black-hatted, nerdy yeshiva bacher brother, Esau, Yaakov, who stole his blessings. And Yaakov says, you know what? When I was by Lavan, I kept all 630 mitzvahs. To which Esau probably said, well, good for you. Jerk. Why would he so care that Yaakov kept all 613 mitzvahs? Always was a stupid little fool brother. What does he care? Not true. They respect you when you stand up for what you believe in. They respect you when I say, no, I'm sorry, I can't, it's not kosher. I'm sorry, it's 2 o'clock, I have to leave, it's almost Shabbat. They respect you for that. Oh, they'll make fun of you, da-da-da, can't go, blah-blah-blah, da-da-da. They respect you. And the minute that you wimp out, and the minute that you compromise, you know, full of baloney, sold out for a couple of bucks. Doesn't mean anything. That's when they respect you. And that's the power of standing up for what you believe in. That's the power for volunteering. That's the power for putting sanctity in the material world. We'll end with one last story, and we'll let you go. The story took place in 1864, Sir Moses Montefiore. So Moses Montefiore, besides being a hugely rich guy, was sent by the Queen of England to represent the Great British Empire, which at the time was the Great British Empire, right? To go to represent the Queen of England in Russia to check out something there with the Tsar. So this is a royal mission from England in the good old days, right? So he has a royal coach, and he's going through Europe. He's traveling on. He goes through Europe, and he's an emissary of the Queen of England. This is like big stuff back then. So everywhere he goes, they make a parade and a reception. Queen of England, Sir Moses Montefiore, England, right? Great British Empire, right? Right? It's big stuff. So he's traveling through some town in Poland, and they got guards on the side, and the crowds are there, and the mayor, and he's riding in a royal coach, and the coach has the emblem of the Queen on it, the Queen, government of England, right? And as he's passing through the town, some kid screams out, Žid! Derogatory term for a Jew. And everyone freezes. Wow. And Montefiore says, stop the coach! Get the kid! And the soldiers fan out, they run into the crowd, and pushing everybody away, and the kid's running for his life, and they grab him! They drag him back. He says, bring him into my coach. And he dragged the kid over. They bring him into the coach. And Moses Montefiore looks at him. And he pulls out a gold coin from his pocket. And he gives it to the kid. And he says, thank you. That was the nicest compliment I've gotten all day. That's the power of standing up for what you believe in. That's the power of not wimping out. That's the power of not being superficial. That's the power of the Yiddishkeit, which is not walking the walk, which is not a costume, but has real content in it. That's the ability to take the material world and put sanctity in it and turn it into something wonderful and beautiful. It's very, very difficult. We live in very difficult times. We live in very superficial times. We live in times which are difficult struggles. The power of Adar, the power of Purim, the power of the number 7 is to take it all and turn it into something really powerful. It's very hard to do. It's easy to be superficial. It's not rewarding. You all know that. But if you have the ability to look at yourselves in the mirror the next day and be proud of what you see, and even if after the day after Purim you're not completely proud of what you were, but at least you now know who and what you are and you know the next steps to take, that will, Emertz Hashem, lead us as we get through number 6, and we'll get through the 7th millennium, we'll get through the 7th Ushpiz, and we'll get to David HaMelech, and then we'll all have clarity and we'll all have courage. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful Purim.
Amen.